What's good, y'all? Welcome to episode 7 of the No Warning Shot podcast. Your boy B Miller back in the building, CO in the building, Bull in the building. And today we are joined by the illustrious and amazing Miss Shantá Franco. How you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. Blessed to be here.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate you being here, man. Of course. So let me just give Shantá her praise real quick. I believe in giving people their flowers while they're here and they're present. So
thank you.
So Shantá is an amazing woman. She's currently on the board of directors for the Santa Clara Valley Open Space Authority. She's also the director of gender and equality for Santa Clara County Democratic Party, and she's also the corresponding secretary for the California Democratic Party for African American Caucus. And the list that ain't even the whole list though.
I got 14 jobs.
That's not even the whole list.
How
you doing?
I'm doing good.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for welcoming me and inviting me. I'm really excited.
Thank you for coming.
Definitely. How you feeling today?
I mean, like I said, it's been crazy. And on TV, we're watching all the riots and the protests. And, you know, as a mom, I'm concerned for Black children.
Definitely.
And so it's been a lot this week. Yeah, I've had my share of crying and feeling helpless. But being in spaces like this, that it gives me strength. And I know that we can get through it.
Definitely.
I love that.
We ain't got another choice. We've been doing this for 400 years, so we're gonna
Hello.
We're gonna get through it one way or another. Either
we can't do it for another 100 though.
We're not going
I can do it for another 5.
We're not going to.
No. If you ain't seen no Black people get together, join this podcast.
Yeah,
there it is. There it is.
Right.
We out here.
It's gonna change today.
Yes, it is. Definitely.
Hey, we definitely appreciate you taking care of the people because that's
it's a hard.
a lot.
That's not a high paying
lot.
job. That's like that right there. That shows more about your character and your soul.
Right.
Thank you very much for what you
Definitely.
do.
Well, it pays in a different way.
That's right.
Okay.
With people advancing and being successful.
Right.
They're a part of progress.
Definitely.
Most of the time, they're not included in the conversation. They're not included in the decisions, the funding, and the policies.
Right.
So whatever I do is I'm just trying to build up my own community.
Absolutely. That's what we all trying to do.
Each one teach one.
Each one teach one. Well, I'm the first Black in most of all those positions.
Right.
But I won't be the last.
Yeah.
No. Right.
But that's crazy when you think about it.
You're opening doors.
Yeah.
I'm trying to train y'all. What y'all doing?
Yeah, you're staying the
You've been
standard.
recruited.
Right.
We all then, huh?
Going back to what you just said, you're the first. It's crazy when you think about it because we live in California. Diverse, liberal state, area, city, but you are the first Black Latinx woman,
openly gay
woman on all these different boards. Like, how do you feel about that? Like, how does that?
You know, I think that like when you go to an event and you're in a space that is predominantly all white or Asian or Indian and you see one Black person, you run in to find out who that is, right? But when you see them on the stage and they're speaking knowledge, you feel like you belong.
Right.
I think that when I go places and I see somebody Black standing up there, I'm like, oh, shoot, I belong here.
Right.
And that's what it does. But what happened is we have this a time where the previous leaders did not build up a pipeline.
Right.
And that's why people like us, we have to struggle getting all these different roles because otherwise people don't see us. We could be doing this incredible work right here on your street, but they don't know unless you're in one of these positions.
Right.
So my job is to make sure that everybody gets a seat at the table.
Everyone.
So, quick question as far as that, so being gay, did that hinder you at all?
Of course. I mean, it hurts me in society. It hurts me a lot in the Black community. But you know what? I guess if I gave a shit about everybody's perspective, right, I would have never made it to where I'm at now.
Right.
When they were putting, nigger die on my car and dog shit, or when they were breaking my windows, or when I was running, people were sending death threats and evil stuff to me from their address with the sticker with their address on it.
With no shame.
And their names with no shame.
Oh, now we pod.
Let's
go.
Shot
But
fired.
that's real time. I keep them as some side of
motivation, right?
It does because people said, "Oh my God, I can't believe you were going through this." I'm like, "Girl, it's Tuesday."
Right.
I'm like, "This is what
Friday
we have to deal with on a regular." Right. And
Right.
so, me being gay is just who I sleep with. That doesn't change how I policy.
Right.
It doesn't change how I show up for people.
Right.
So I don't know why it's irrelevant, but for some people, they think it's their decision of who I should be with.
Right.
So as you know, we're all formerly incarcerated ourselves.
That's myself.
And I understand you've been impacted by the justice system yourself.
Yeah.
So did that experience motivate you to get into politics or get into community activism?
I mean, like, there's been a million different reasons why I got into this.
Right.
I mean, as I mentioned before I joined the show, and this, thank you for that time you spent with me, is when you're younger and people control your environment, you don't know because you're so used to people controlling your environment. And when I was locked up for self-defense or being trafficked, I was a victim of another system.
Right.
And back then they didn't recognize. Now we have laws protecting kids from being arrested for prostitution as they're being trafficked. And self-defense is now so much stronger when a child is being abused. But what it has made me, the one thing as the work I do now is I work with them. As soon as the juvenile hall lets me, I used to run programming in there. And I mean, I made long life relationships and connections with these people because I speak the real. These people here hired, they went and got a social, service degree, but they don't have any work in our community and they don't understand what Black and Latino kids have gone through in their community. So that growing up poor, being homeless here. I mean, I grew up doing this podcast right in my own hood. Right?
There we go.
Shout out 7 Trees.
7 Trees in the house, Andrew Hill. Oh, good. So, I mean.
I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you.
Full circle. You know what I'm saying? Full circle.
What's dope is, what's dope that you like hold the position that you have and you're able to come sit down with us.
Right.
People that are never going to see us as far as in the political world, but you're able to come sit down and, well, as far as right now,
but
that's you're able to come sit down.
We're making strides.
But you're able to come sit down and actually speak your mind and tell how you really feel. I can tell that you really mean what you say. That makes sense.
Right.
I
mean,
how does that impact you in these other spaces, though?
Right.
How do people take you in?
Let's
are they appreciative as we are of your openness?
They were on that. Hey, she was on that Black podcast.
With the guy they had with the marijuana on it, right?
Hey, it's legal. It's legal. Let's go. It's legal.
I think that people embrace me for different reasons, right? It's what they want to see in me, what they want to get from me.
Right.
A lot of times, which annoys the hell out of me, is they use me as a diversity ticket because I'm Black, I'm Puerto Rican, I'm gay. They're like,
you check off all the boxes.
Shay, she can join us because she could
get that vote.
Diversity and inclusion hurts our community because it means that we haven't been there, nor we're not supposed to be there. And by adding those terms means that we're welcoming you into a community. No, we're supposed to be there. You just haven't given us the opportunities.
And we're born here.
I never thought about it like that, but that's facts.
But it is true. Like, we're gonna have diversity and inclusion. I'm like, we should have been here. You don't even need a title or a program
Shay
for
just
us.
comes in like, what's up, nigga?
I'm here.
I do.
Like, I got the barbecue, the watermelon, all the shit.
Fried chicken, collard greens.
Y'all
But then I got the empanadas,
But I
the
background.
bacalao.
That's what's up.
I mean, it is important that I show up in all spaces.
Definitely.
And I actually feel more comfortable in these spaces because I know for sure I'm not being judged, I'm being loved, I'm being embraced.
Of course.
And I mean, I think people who represent you should come from these spaces.
Should look like you, come from these spaces. They should hit at least.
They should be natives of our communities, and they're not.
It shouldn't be people that all went to college and like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go help out and want to do good work because you don't know what you want to do yet. You're trying to find that out.
Well, I got a question for you.
Me?
For all of you.
Oh, let's go.
Who's your city council member?
Shit, which one?
What district?
What district? What district?
Who's your?
That's
where you live at.
That's where it gets choppy.
I honestly don't know who mine is.
That's where it gets choppy.
You know who yours is?
That's what district we're talking about.
Right here, right here.
Yeah, what district we're in? This is District 9?
Nope, what district we're in?
Yours. You're on person.
Okay, you don't know your city council member? Okay, who's your board of supervisor?
Boards.
No idea.
You hopefully. Let's go. I got an answer for all this. You. Let's go. Let's go.
But that's my point.
Right.
They're not showing up in your communities. You don't see them. It isn't your job to look for them.
Right.
You should know them.
We need those type of people that want to get out there and they want to go. They want to put the foot to the pavement.
Mm-hmm.
They want to go out there and run them streets that they once grew up in, and that's what we're not getting from people that are being elected outside of this community because they don't know where to start. They're going to go where the numbers are, and that's not where it always lies.
Or where the mailers come from.
Bingo.
You get those 16 mailers, and you think, well, this must be the right person.
Right.
But what you don't realize, there's a little thing that says, committee of unicorns, and it's like the people who hurt our communities.
Right.
It's all those big corporations.
So when you say community of unicorns,
I'm just saying, I'm giving you can actually make up any name.
I shook my head, but I was like, where's this going? The unicorns.
I'm with that.
So is there is there a space for justice impacted people to be involved in this system?
I think that it's important is that legislation changes everything.
Definitely.
And the people that are your state representatives can bring these bills to change those laws that were there to keep us oppressed.
Right.
Just like voting. You know, ACA 6, Free the Vote Act. I mean, that's another opportunity where we're about to fight this year to make sure every person can vote. It doesn't matter. That is your right. It is a right.
And once you start taking people's right, it's something you're taking their right from everything else.
Yep.
You got to remember, once you take one person's right away, that just leads to another door to
Bula,
being taken away.
No, I don't.
No.
I'm ready. Look, let me get one to stretch.
Did we change your mind?
No, I love the way this is going. I don't want to do that. But I think there's certain people out there that should not have the right to press anything at the ballot. But whatever, let's go.
But I hear what you're saying, and most times they're not going to. But we should still give them their rights. That's like you going to jail. You did your time. They said, I'm giving you 10 years for this thing you did. Then after you step out 10 years, you should get everything back. You should have that box. We removed the box. It shouldn't even matter. You did your time. Let's remove that.
Department of Corrections. That's what it's called. Corrections. You corrected me.
You and I had a conversation earlier. You and I had a conversation earlier about this voting and about being locked up. The thing is, it's supposed to be rehabilitation. If we don't have any votes after we come home, that means you didn't put us in a position to be rehabilitated. Right. You locked us in a cage and hope we come back.
And there's people paying for this.
But if we were really... If that machine was really working, we're really being rehabilitated, then when we come home, we should have the same rights as everyone else.
So I got a question, right? So let's say, for example, say, hey, we just asked everybody, hey, do you want people to just get fed in prison, or do you want to rehabilitate them to come out to society as a working member of this society? Everybody's gonna check that box, man. Like we forgetting that these people are gonna come home and be our neighbors. Like everybody talks about it. Everybody talks about it. Like people, oh yeah, well, you know what? We spend too much money. Wait, whoa, wait, let's get it straight. This is gonna be your neighbor. It's gonna be your nephew. It's gonna be your son. Like at the end of the day, these people have to come out and be a part of this system. Definitely. Regardless. And if they're not a part of our society, then what? We're going to have more violence, more robberies, more crime. And then what do we didn't get nothing done. All we did.
Crime has been steady going down for the past 25, 30 years. But
they want to tell you that. People don't want to commit crimes unless they're like mentally ill. But like what's
well, most people that are going there are going for violation.
Exactly. That too. Because it's caught in the system.
Exactly.
Right. And it's like, and everybody looks
and so with that, I'm the chair. I mean, I know I didn't say it here, but I'm actually the chair of the Santa Clara County Commission on the Status of Women.
Hold on.
Another job.
Say it again in the back. They didn't hear you.
So I am currently the chair of the Santa Clara County Commission on the Status of Women. And the reason I joined is because they have this jail monitoring program. That's where the commission and people from the community can go in on the women's side of Elmwood. And we meet with them 2 hours a day. It used to be 2 hours. I changed it to 2 days, 2 hours each. And we get to make sure they're okay, check out their quads, make sure when they put in their white cards, do they have, menstrual cycle stuff, cleaning utensils, getting the right foods, medication. We go in there and we meet with them because the commission is the women of the community representing the women and girls of this community. And so I only joined because they had the jail monitoring, which I moved under the Justice and Advocacy, and we fight for legislation that protects them.
Are you guys still doing that?
Yeah, currently.
So what are they doing right now as far as the women in jails with the PPE? Like as far as the mask and all that?
Some of the women have called me and wrote me and said, hey, we're not getting enough masks. We're breathing the same air all the time. And so the great thing is that we do have a really great relationship with the people that are there running the custody, like running the department. And I'll tell you, they're wonderful. They are actually making sure they have everything they need. But it is because of that accountability partnership that we have.
So are you talking about as far as the COs themselves, like the
COs. We have a great relationship on the women's side. I can't speak to the men's side because of my own trauma. It's a side I don't go through. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I can say on the women's side is we have a great partnership with the lieutenants, the COs, and I mean even outside of there, like they understand. Guess what? They from these hoods. So and you have to think that for women, we don't want to lock women up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They have empathy. But I've been in there. I done seen some stuff. Some people have to be restrained for their own safety and others. Of course. But I think mental health. There it is. When Reagan closed down all the mental health facilities, they now put that job on police, on correction officers.
Wait, they say, did we just segue into mental health?
Yes,
because that's
a long conversation.
But what they're saying is, hey, look, we already got these facilities built. We already got funding for this. We're not getting funding over it. So they just migrate them and say,
they just push everyone out.
Or what they do is they're like
happy. They knew that once people were poor people. They knew damn well when they said we're gonna close it, they knew there was gonna be another facility built because they started building shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Think about all of us. We've all been in like different situations, incarcerated. Right. Think about how many people that were in there that actually need to be in a hospital somewhere and need to be locked up.
40% of them.
Yeah, I was saying
40% of them.
Like maybe 60 because they were on drugs and shit. But like, you can.
But drug is a mental health and it's an addiction issue. It's a mental health issue.
And as soon as med call gets called, it's 60 people in line.
There's a lot of things ain't taking those meds. That's not there.
It's about making money. I mean, you know.
I can't. I'm
Bro, when I was in High Desert, bro, one of the biggest riots I've been in, bro, was kicked off by
a med call?
I'm getting my Seroquels.
By
what we call someone who's a J-Cat.
Yeah.
J-Cat.
I know what a J-Cat is. I know what a J-Cat is. Don't sleep.
He took off on a different race, right?
Yeah.
But he's crazy. He ain't got no, but that don't matter. He took off on another race, and because he did, bro, hella people got stabbed, people got shot. Yeah. But none of that could have been avoided if this dude would have been in a mental health facility.
Instead of
he had no business being on a level 4 yard. People lost their life behind that.
That's crazy.
That's why it's crazy. Like I'm a firm believer that people with mental health issues do not need to be in prison.
So real quick, because I know you're gonna make a point because I see you there. But does everybody know what J-Cat originated from?
No.
Break it down for the people.
All right. So they put everybody in a category. They didn't have a category for people who were like mental health. So if you go on Google or even look it up, category J is for mental health.
I didn't know that.
Didn't know that.
Well, hence J-Cat.
Yeah, J-Cat.
This nigga spitting bullets today.
I know. I didn't know that.
I've been in jail. I'm just saying. Hey, not college, jail. Just saying, bro.
I did 4 years.
Yale, nigga, not jail.
I went to Harvard and jail.
Well, yeah, that's where the term J-Cat came from.
I want to take it back real quick to women in incarceration.
Nice.
Because that's something that we don't hear a lot about. Like a lot of academia and
we see them when they walk into the rotunda. Right me.
But a lot of the issues are focused on male issues and stuff that men face. We don't hear enough
inequalities.
about inequalities.
It's also inequality. So men get way more services than women.
Right.
So luckily, I'm there and have a great relationship with the man they hired, a black man, to run all the programming. And together, me and him and his partner, we designed a different program for the women.
Nice.
And I said, how are you going to be able to give all the men San Jose State? And the girls got classes on emotional stability. I was like, they need to have some business law, some accounting.
They try to get y'all ready for the street.
It's rehabilitation, right? You got to give them a tool.
Right.
If you're saying that they're doing this 10 years for something they did, this is going to change and these 10 years is going to change them, then you got to show that you've changed them.
What the point of me?
I'm leaving with her.
Problem.
I'm on that shit.
No.
It's true, but we offer programs, so we changed programming. So now you can go to junior college in there. We brought STEM, aquaponics, and working with the unions to make sure they can learn a trade. People have to be able to leave to be able to take care of themselves and sustain it with something. In Silicon Valley?
Right.
So
you can't. You can't come in Silicon Valley, go to jail and expect everybody. Oh yeah, just gonna go ahead and start cleaning houses or whatever. You have to have them with something.
They can't even get that job.
Can't even get okay.
They still
bad example.
You can't come in my house.
Bad example.
So percentage as far as like you going and doing the programs that you're doing to help the females that are incarcerated. What percentage of the females do you see that are incarcerated as far as minorities?
So I would say that there was a pretty large black population.
Why are you laughing about it?
Because it's a misconception. You know what they always say?
Right.
Well, you guys are only 3% of the county,
right.
So we don't have enough money to focus on you. I heard that while I had to fight to go to Atlanta to a justice-involved conference, where I was so glad that I fought tooth and nail to get there because it was beautiful to see formerly incarcerated black queens running a conference. It was like 3,000, and together we built these. You have to support the women. That's here. If you want to know how to do it,
is this an annual conference?
Yeah, so it's every year. It's biannual.
Biannual, okay. We'll put the link up on the pod.
Yeah, for sure.
Please.
The AJFO conference. It is an amazing place if you want to get involved.
It's going to show up right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
We'll put it up on the pod
right here.
Yeah.
It was started by
subscribe
and subscribe and follow us at. But it was really important because I was able to build partnerships in Atlanta, Denver, New York. I was meeting other women that were doing this work, and I was like, wait, you opened a community center? We was like, and how did you do that? They're like, girl, and we were able to build tools. We don't have a progressive county like that. Right. So I fight through so many barriers and red tapes where I won't be able to move as fast as I could as CBO, my own nonprofit.
Right.
I think that's a better place for me because I'm a louder advocate. I can be beyond Santa Clara County. And so
nationwide.
But when I'm in the jails, most of them are women of color, Black and Latina. And guess what? Those are the people who didn't have the services or the community centers or or they're in a generation, like haven't broken a cycle, parents in jail, domestic violence, mental health. Right. And then you're going to throw them in a space and not give them anything.
Right.
Those are the people who are going to suffer the most because white and Asian women who are the highest paid, and if you talk about, pay equality.
If you talk about, pay equality, exactly.
They're going to have a better chance to get out and get something versus a Black or a Latino woman.
Right. So as a current elected official, do you feel the county is doing an adequate job at addressing these inequalities, these issues?
No.
Okay, that was it. All right, so next.
Shots fired.
No.
So
bang bang.
We all know that they ain't doing a good job, but like, are they making strides? Is the best way to say it, I guess.
Leadership.
Right?
Let's go back to leadership.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is there
leadership?
Is that working?
We used to have this dope ass leader who now is the CEO or the executive director of Next Door Solutions, which is a domestic violence.
Talking about you.
Yeah.
I got
She's not, by the way.
Yeah. And she was about that life.
Right.
And she used to run the Office of Women's Policy. So the commission actually created the Office of Women's Policy. Okay. And so when she was there, anything that was related to women, she'd be like, commissioners, I'm going to write your talking points. I'm going to get you connected. You need to be at this event. And then she left. And then it was like a gap, and then they got someone not from our community, someone who's not a woman that's not Black or Latino, which is a majority, so has no lived experience. And I mean, honestly, I filed a complaint against her. I think that she doesn't understand the issues of our community, and I shouldn't have to pretend that I didn't do that.
Right.
You're not representing the voices of our commission and our community because you ain't from here. And she's not even really trying. It's more of a dog and pony show, so that hurts our programs, right? Because then they cancel our visit with the women. I'm like, no. We have to be there every month. Right. We have to make this 2-year report. If we're not there to do the report, we can't give valid data.
Right.
So,
and that kills your funding.
We have made strides because we're the only program in the nation that does this. So I'm trying to implement this in other counties to have other commissions support and have a jail monitoring program.
All right, Shay. So my next question will be this. So you're a person of color, and you have.
I'm a Black woman.
You're definitely a Black woman, and you're pretty predominant as far as like the seat that you hold. So, being as though that you're involved with a person that's in the law enforcement that's not a woman of color, do you get backlash as far as all the things that you do to help all the Black people in the community? Do people look at you differently, like you're trying to help all the Black people in the community, but you're dating someone that's not of the community?
Yeah, or just that I'm Puerto Rican, I'm not Black enough.
Right.
Ooh,
I like that.
We need to talk about colorism.
We need to
talk about colorism. Some people said, I didn't support you and you're running because you're married to a cop. You're going to help the police department. And I was like, do you not know me?
Right.
And I was like, how do you put judgment on me? I get a lot of slack, and I just, today was the reason, you can get on my Facebook, that I posted my own personal trauma of my brother being shot by the police. Right now I'm fighting for his case in LA County Sheriff. My other brother being convicted of a murder with no evidence. It's all those things impact me, or my other brother getting shot by somebody.
Showed us that picture today.
Yeah, and for me, people don't know my damn experience.
Right.
They don't know the battles that I fight every day because I wear this mask of, I'm always positive. I'm trying to advance people.
Or they don't want to know,
look,
right?
I cry many a nights because I do have that she is someone that doesn't understand what we're going through.
Right.
I will tell you, if you are not Black, you cannot speak to my experiences.
Right.
Shut the hell up.
Shut up, sit back and listen.
That's the time for you to listen.
It's time for you to listen. Allies, you need to listen.
Right.
If you are not Black, take a back seat to this.
Shots
And you know what you
fired.
need to do is tell your friends how to behave different. If you see it at work,
Tell your
someone
family
is
and
treating
friends.
somebody else, you see your neighbors calling somebody a nigga out their name, you need to step up and say something, because I'm so sick and tired of trying to teach y'all how to teach your people.
It's not my
It's not my job. It's not my burden.
It's not my burden to carry. I got enough to deal with.
So people do give me a lot of slack, and I feel like sometimes they want me to overcompensate. I'm like, that's your issue. If you can't see all the good I do in this community and all the work I do, just because she is Vietnamese and German and a police officer doesn't mean that veil covers me from discrimination and racism.
Right.
I experience it every day. If I'm not protesting the way they are, like I said earlier, I wake up every day as a Black woman, it's a protest. Consistent.
Every day we alive as a protest against the system.
As being a strong Black woman in the situation that's going on, obviously you're mixed, so I get it.
I'm Black though. Society
for
sees me.
sure.
I wake up every day as a Black woman.
They see me as Fijians.
Yeah.
Oh.
I knew he was Black though. I knew he was Black.
I was down. You know me. I try to dibble it down.
So with that being said, though, like, where do you see yourself after everything you've accomplished from criminal history to now that you're like doing the things that you got to do for positive for the community? Where do you see yourself going from here?
So I actually just got this amazing opportunity where a white woman and a few of them have taken me in and helping me get to Mills College. I just got in Mills College.
Nice.
Best school in Oakland. They want to graduate strong Black women like me.
That's right.
And so I finished in 2 years. I decided that I should run for state assembly.
Nice.
Because that's where you change the laws is at state assembly. And once I get there, open the door for other people to be in those seats too.
I don't think our listeners understand what state assembly does.
Okay, let me explain it to you.
Let's go.
So there's two houses at the state. There's state senate and state assembly. Right now, y'all don't even know who your representative is.
No idea.
I ran that campaign, so I know who it is.
Right.
But in these communities, we have people that make policy decisions, but don't live our experience. They tend to do more trendy stuff.
Right.
You know what's popular than the deep-rooted stuff that's going to take a lot of sweat, a lot of blood.
So they're hashtagging it too, huh?
Yeah.
What's going to trend on IG?
Yeah, exactly. And so for
Twitter
me,
it
is I'm from this community. I'm from San Jose. I could run for mayor, to be honest. Mayor actually covers the police, so I was thinking maybe mayor. But I said, I want to change law. I want to be in a position at the state to make sure that I am able to change law.
I was going to say, we just had an
so
interview.
Different.
We don't want you running against the people we know.
It's about representation.
That's right.
And until you have people that have experienced the things that majority of your community, then you're not going to get that person speaking to those issues when it comes to funding and policy. And for me, I'm just like y'all.
Right.
We are the same.
Right.
I just said, how can I make systematic impact?
Right.
And that is by running campaigns for people that I think now I'm only running campaigns for people that I know that about that life.
Right.
And running myself to get to the next level. And through these last 4 years since I run the last campaign for this seat, I have built a network of people that also want to see that change, even our allies.
It's crazy.
That I feel better supported. And once I joked about it 2 days ago on Facebook, I got 420 messages saying,
it wasn't a joke. I know.
Yeah, I'll be your fundraiser. I'll run your campaign. I'll get your people just came at me.
People want to see that shit.
So with that being said, how can we support you as far as moving forward with that?
So this is the problem that we have in our community. We want change.
This is the bridge we have to gap.
This is right here.
Right?
But most of the people in our community don't vote because we always feel like my vote don't even matter.
Right.
I mean, that's on a presidential level, but the city vote matters.
Right.
So local is where it matters.
Right.
The president don't make decisions here in San Jose.
Right.
It's your city council, your board of supervisor, your school board members, your state assembly, your senators.
Right. How do we get to know them? That's a
sad thing.
They gotta get to know us.
That's exactly
They get to know us.
If you can't tell me who you're representing, they ain't doing their job.
Well, then I guess we're not at fault today.
That's right. So
that's their fault. Hey, whoever's in office,
because I only know two people. I know you and Raul.
Because many of them don't think you guys are even worth the time.
Of course.
Well, guess where they send me to go knock on doors? In these communities, the apartments, the hood, because I speak fluent hood.
Right.
You know, people see me and they know me. They're like, oh, that's Shantá or Tay-Tay, Sugar Shay, Mama Shay.
Nigga open the door like,
exactly. People are inviting me in to eat with them, you know. So I just feel like my next step is going to be most likely going to be state assembly for this district.
So, as being Puerto Rican and Black, just like I am as well, just like my daughter is as well, she's 11 years old. If she wants to do something for the community moving forward, or if she wants to do something like to be a help in the community, what can she do at that age right now to move forward, to get involved?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you right now, I'm quite impressed with her at 11 that she has her own podcast. Let's just start there.
There you go.
Shouts out, Young
Gelato.
Check out Young Gelato.
Look, I'm trying to get a cameo.
Right.
But I think that's our job, right?
Right.
Is I provide all these spaces. I take in interns. I give them opportunities because no one else is going to help them level up.
Right.
And if I'm in this position to not stand there and feed myself, I'm grabbing folding chairs. So how do I put you in these positions? So I think that for younger people, they don't know is that there's youth commissioners. You can be involved as delegates in the party. Right. You can do neighborhood cleanups. I actually clean up a mile of the Guadalupe River every month, and I have like 6 interns that run my whole program. Right. It just really depends on what she wants to do. She's already a leader. Right. She just needs people to take her to different spaces, and I'm willing. Like, you got me.
She actually needs a Black, strong woman like you to be able to put her in a situation to move forward.
Done. Right. Consider it done. We're actually having these wonderful women out of Sacramento, and they're Black Women United. They actually do this once every 2 months call. We're talking how to uplift young Black girls. I'll definitely connect you with them.
What's
so she can. It's called Black Women United. Okay. Shout out to Alika and the crew. Because it's really important that we celebrate other women doing this work.
Definitely.
And start, instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, but just hop in the car. So for me, I think that's the important thing is, like, as soon as I came in here and I saw her and I saw her in the video yesterday, I already swooped her. Right. You know? I
already got it.
Right.
Because who else is going to do that? I mean,
but that's what you want.
Yeah, right. No one did it for me. It's on.
Women are doing positive things to come in and swoop.
And I support and appreciate that for sure.
Most definitely.
For sure.
We're in these positions so young girls can see us and want to be not us, but be their version of greatness.
We need to be able to be ourselves in these spaces.
Yes.
We should never have to conform.
You gotta be strong.
We should never have to conform to anyone's ideology of who we should.
When conforming comes,
we have a beautiful culture of who we is. You feel me? So
everybody wants our culture. They want to dance like us. They want to rap like us.
Look like
they want to eat like us. But they don't want to stand with us.
Right.
This has definitely been one of the most enjoyable conversations we've had in the pod so
far.
I appreciate that. But we can't end this conversation without addressing what's currently going on in the nation, specifically in the Black community with these officer-involved killings.
Yeah.
The uprisings that are going on across the country. As an elected official, with everything that's going on, specifically in the city of San Jose right now, what is your take on the current events going on right now?
You know, I think I started the segment with it is important for us to really see beyond what media and the narrative they try to force on us. And so we never ever really get to see what really happens. But me personally, I was receiving messages and videos, like live, like my friends were doing live videos in private groups so we could see what was happening. I was disappointed. Right. Because a lot of the people that were going out to protest are these allies that show up to want to take a picture. Right. But when the real shit's happening on a day-to-day, they act completely different. They're not fighting for policies to protect us. They're not trying to have, criminal justice reform.
They're not in the workforce trying to elevate.
The selfie picture of them they're smiling, and I'm like, this shit ain't funny.
Right.
It is only sometimes lip service, and they only want to they want to make a statement, they take a picture, and then next week they're talking about something different.
Right.
Okay.
Our lives continue not to matter.
Right.
And in this specific situation is that when we talk about Black Lives Matter, they need to matter every day.
Right.
And every single day.
Time for all lives matter. I don't want to hear that all lives matter.
Don't miss me with that.
Yeah, right now.
Miss me all the way with that.
Miss me all that.
You get unfriended and Mark.
Right.
So I feel as if we have to look at things from so many different perspectives and not make judgment.
Before we close out, right, I want to get to one other hot button topic, all right?
Okay.
Because it's been a lot of it going on in social media right now, and I want to get all of you guys' opinion on it, okay?
Okay.
Is there a proper way to protest?
Y'all go first.
Floor is open.
Thanks, Chris.
Y'all go first. I'm gonna have my judgment.
Oh, it's on me? Oh, it's on you. We're going to let you go. Yeah. Let's do it.
Well, I just think what is proper and who determines what's proper. I feel as if I'm more strategic. Mm-hmm. I think that I want to go there with an action plan. Mm-hmm. But I think on June 19th is Juneteenth.
Nice.
And so I didn't join all the other protests because they weren't speaking to what I was trying to get done.
Right.
Me personally, for my Black kids.
Right.
And so I'm inviting Black leaders like yourselves to be there in the front, and I'm asking our partners and our allies to get in the back and listen.
Right.
I'm not inviting any elected officials to speak because they should be actually listening to us.
Open
and
ears,
I invite
closed
you
mouths.
to come there to do the podcast live.
We would love to do it.
We'll be there.
To really,
Let's go.
This is a great way for you to come and bring our different communities together.
Yes.
Definitely.
Because they need to hear from you. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, I'd love for you to speak, but I think the proper way for me is when we all show up together.
Right.
But right now it's about Black lives.
Right.
And people shouldn't tell us how to protest.
Right.
And even if kids get rowdy, we need to embrace them.
Right.
And
Definitely.
give them some other place to
They're
put
angry.
that energy and
Exactly.
that anger. We've got to, this is our community. We're also responsible for those kids that don't know anything else but destruction.
Right.
Definitely.
So I think there is no proper way, and nobody that doesn't understand our struggle should tell us how.
Definitely.
You got something to say?
I don't know how to follow that one.
I
That
got
was
something
dope,
right
right
Shoot from the
there.
hip.
I got it
Bang,
right
bang.
here.
So
Look.
listen, hey, listen. This is what I'm gonna do.
I'll shoot the shit.
I'll be there on the 19th,
Boom.
and we're gonna talk to the people.
There it is.
But as far as like the right way to protest, if we kneel, it's wrong. If
Right.
we go in the middle of the street and we protest, it's wrong. I mean, there's no right way to do it. Like, honestly, the only thing I can say is get in those fucking offices and vote.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you can protest and do whatever you want to do. Like, don't get me wrong. I would like a new TV, too. Don't get me wrong. But
I live that.
that's not the right way to do it. So
Right.
get in those offices and vote, and then see what happens from there. Everybody thinks their vote doesn't count. Your vote counts, especially when it's
If
locally.
you're using it right.
Right. Get it. Like, listen. I mean,
Informed.
be informed. Like, even like, just get there. If you get there and vote,
Sure.
listen. Even if you don't think your vote counts, honestly, it really does. Just get there and put effort into making it happen. That's it. And make sure you vote for Shay.
Shay.
Shay,
Hey, Shay.
So look, I want to get into this real quick, right? Like the right to protest is how you feel. At the end of the day, we've been prosecuted or put down or what do you call oppressed for so many years. You can't ask us how the right way is to fight your oppressor.
Right.
If you feel at any point in time
Yes.
that you're being oppressed, there's no right way. At the end of the day, if you take a sledgehammer and do it, that's what you felt was necessary. I'm not saying do that, but I mean at the end of the day, you can't tell somebody when they've been oppressed how to react. At the end of the day, this is reaction. You should have responded first. You should have white people out there that want to question this or should have been like, hey, look, I ain't seen no black people in my fucking building in a while. Why don't I have people up here? Why am I not corresponding with black people?
Why, doing everything that you do for the community, why would you take your time to do a podcast with us?
Okay. When I was so excited when we were having the phone call,
Right.
and they were like, "Oh, you gotta get on this show because these are your brothers. Like this,
Right.
like this is your family." And I'm gonna tell you, I've done a lot of interviews.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've done. I mean, you can Google that shit.
Right.
This is the first time that I've ever been. I know you have. Shut that shit out. But it's, to be honest, like, man, this feels so good that
We
I don't have to
appreciate
change
you
who
so
I am
much.
This is
to
home.
accommodate to an
appreciate you.
audience. Like, you know what
This
I'm
is
saying?
home.
Like,
Right.
it's exhausting
Right.
code switching every day
Right.
to appease what they expect me to be.
Right.
home.
I can't be, they told me straighten your hair, lighten it a little bit more so you can look more European like. I said, but that's not how I look.
Right.
Hey,
Right.
Like, I mean, even with the threats,
Right.
even with all the opportunities I've had, I'll tell you, this is the best interview I've had in the longest
Hey,
time.
we love you.
Appreciate
This is the best
That's
interview
some
we've
real
had also
shit.
as
That's
well.
facts.
I can say what I want to say.
Yeah.
And everyone who's watching it that don't agree and say, "Oh my God, I can't believe this is who we are.
Right.
This is what we talk about at
Watch
home.
us.
This is home.
This is who we are when we shut the door to your judgment.
Definitely.
We
This is
are
home.
these people." So, and thank you for inviting me. And
Thank
I
you
came
for
on
coming.
this
Thank you for
because I
coming. For
was
sure.
so
We,
excited.
we appreciate it.
Y'all really could be
Definitely.
my brothers, like on some real.
We are.
Yeah, we are now.
Yeah.
Now we are. This is done.
We
This is done
family.
deal,
Hey,
for
but
sure.
before we close out, I want to just give my little 2 cents in on this whole proper way to protest. If you guys hold police accountable that kill black men,
Right.
black women, people of color, minorities, if you hold them accountable the same way you would hold any of us accountable, you wouldn't have these not riots. You wouldn't have these uprisings in the streets. You wouldn't have these
these
rebellions.
violence protests.
These uprisings are a reaction to your inaction. And don't let the media change the narrative, right? They want to continue this narrative of the docile black man. Of course. Marching with your hands up. Right. Begging for fucking peace and all that shit and acceptance. Nah, fuck that. We have a long history of rebellions as black people. Whether it be here in America or in the Caribbean or in South America, right? You'll never hear about that in history. Right. But we've been rebellion, bro.
Go to college.
We've been exactly.
Go to college.
Go to Penn, bro. I learned more black history in prison than I ever learned in school, bro. Big fact. You feel me? So, bro, we've been rebellion. We ain't never been docile. Never ever been docile. So don't let the media tell you that you gotta be docile. But we've been docile, and y'all ain't supposed to.
Well, how about they always quote Martin Luther King. He did peace, and I was like, he was assassinated.
By your CIA. As always, your past doesn't determine your future, but your hustle and motivation will. So make sure today is the day you take your shot. We out.